Iran, we've seen these several days now of protests. At the same time, we have a deadline next week of the president deciding whether to recertify or not under the Iranian deal. How might that affect the calculation in Washington, either for the president or for the Congress?
Well, I think at this point it's clear that the president will not certify them again and will continue this. I mean, obviously, the great question right now is, do we see Iran as an enemy, or do we see Iran as a country that might be able to come back into the international fold? This administration is quite clear. Iran is an enemy. It is conducting malign operations throughout the Middle East. So what we're seeing inside of Iran right now is an opportunity for not only the president to get behind the Iranian people, but also convince his Gulf allies that he's there for them as well.
The way that you see it, how effective has the Iran nuclear deal been in curbing Iran?
Well, I don't think the Iranian deal has done anything to curb Iran. I think they will find every opportunity they can to work the edges of that agreement without a complete violation. They'll work the edges of that agreement to continue their nuclear program, but still stay within the margins of the agreement.
Well, it's staying within the margin of the agreement. Did it slow them down at all? Because we thought at one point they were very close to having nuclear capability.
Well, I think they're fairly close now. It slows them down. There's nowhere in the agreement that suggests they will eliminate their program or even reduce their program. So we can expect under this agreement, even if it does hold, that one day Iran, like North Korea, will have a nuclear weapon.
But Iran's nuclear deal wasn't just struck with the U.S. There were other European partners involved. So in your view, is it best to just scrap it or keep it in a different form and add more sanctions against Iran?
Well, I don't think that anybody is suggesting that we completely scrap it and leave nothing behind after that. I think what this president is looking at to do, not only unilaterally if necessary, but with our allies if possible, is revisit that agreement and get a deal that's better for not only ourselves, but for our European allies as well.
So Mark, if you were advising the president, what would you advise him to do? You said this is a time to stand with the Iranian people. What would that involve? Would that mean walking away from this agreement and reimposing and even increasing sanctions?
Well, even more important than bringing this into the context of the nuclear agreement is whether we are going to tell the Iranian people that we're behind them, effectively encourage them to continue the protests. The downside of that, of course, is that the Iranian government will now blame the United States for being the provocateurs behind all of this. But it really doesn't matter. This is an opportunity for the Iranian people to organically protest their government for its lack of being able to provide their needs, their lack of their ability, their unwillingness to use that money that the United States gave them to improve their lot. The average Iranian wants more, and they don't see it coming from this government.